to my channel. Today's video is going to be all about my experience at the Washington Journalism and Media Conference held at George Mason University in Fairfax, Virginia. I got back from my trip on Friday, July 13th after an amazing week where I learned a lot, made new friends, and overall just had a great experience. I received a packet in the mail on November 15th, 2017, and it said George Mason University Washington Journalism and Media Conference. And I opened it up and I was like, what is this? And it said, congratulations, Heather, you've been selected to attend the Washington Journalism and Media Conference at George Mason University. And it just listed all the stuff, like where it was, the deadline to register to go. I got it and I was literally screaming. I was so excited. When I was in 5th and 6th grade, I received packets like that, but it was like for leadership conferences. And I was nominated from my teachers at school. And my mom said that I couldn't go until I was 15 or 16 because I was just too young. I was 10 or 11. I couldn't go off somewhere by myself. I was 16 at the time, now I'm 17. And I was like, Mama, can I go? Like, please. She said, okay, I'll talk to your dad about it. And they talked and they were finally like, yes, you can go. And I was so excited. So we turned in all the paperwork, we filled out everything online, and then a few months later, I received my t-shirt in the mail, and we got the t-shirt and the welcome pack, and I was just so excited. So we had to fill out the rest of the information online, the dietary information, the travel information, the medical information, and I was like, okay, I'm ready to go, like, let's go. It was May at the time, so I was ready to go. Couldn't wait for July to come, and finally July came. The day before, I was so nervous. I was traveling by myself, and I was going to be meeting all these new people from around the states, and I just didn't know what it was going to be like, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I hope I make friends. I hope I'm not lonely the entire time. And if you're worried about that, don't stress out about it, because you're going to find your friends. You're going to find people that are similar to you, because everyone there was just really welcoming, accepting, and friendly and amazing. And I just had a great experience. And I just hopped around in between groups sometimes because I couldn't find some people of a group I'd been hanging out with, so I just go somewhere else. And everyone was awesome. So I want to be going into like the details of my trip now. So I started off on Sunday, July the 7th, I think. I woke up at 4 a.m. because I had to be at the airport by 5:30-ish. So I got ready and we left my house at 4:45. Arrived at the airport around 5:30, where I then checked my bag, and they informed me that my mom couldn't walk with me all the way through the airport because Delta didn't allow that. So my mom was like really sad about that. And she was nervous too, but I was like, bye mama, I'm about to have a great week. It's my first experience being totally away from anyone I knew, and I was just ready to go. Checked my bag, went through TSA, everything was fine, and I just sat by my gate for about an hour until we boarded the flight, because we got there really early and there was like nobody there because the airport's really small and it was early in the morning. I got on my plane, I was like, I'm ready to go, and then had a connecting flight in Atlanta. So I arrived in Atlanta. Oh my gosh, Atlanta was crazy. I got off the plane and immediately I was overwhelmed. It was so much, and it was all different directions. I sat down and chilled until it was time to board. Got on my plane, and on my plane we had some nice snacks. I finally arrived in Washington, D.C. I got to the airport. It was huge, but I wasn't overwhelmed because I knew where to go for baggage claim. So I went downstairs, got the baggage claim, and I found the WJMC people. And they're like, okay, we're gonna leave in about an hour, so you have time to go eat lunch and do whatever you want. Then I was just standing around waiting by the baggage claim where everybody else was, and everybody was already in their little groups, and I was like, oh my gosh, I like need to make friends. So I was standing there, and all of a sudden this girl walked up to me. Her name was Addie, and she said, hey, and I was like, hey. We were like introducing ourselves, and we just were talking, and I just felt so relieved that someone came up to me and was talking to me, because I was like really nervous, you know. And then two other girls joined us, Marilyn and Amanda, and they were all really sweet and amazing, and we just had a great conversation. And after that, we finally boarded the buses to go to GMU, which is about a 45-minute drive from the Washington Reagan Airport. We got on the buses and we got to GMU, and we went into our dorm building, and we went downstairs and we were like, hey, my name is Heather Harrison, and they gave us rooming assignments or whatever. So I got my rooming assignment. I was on the 4th floor in room 39A. So I went upstairs to the 4th floor, and I walked in, and nobody was in there yet. So I had time to just like, whew, you know, bring myself in. Hey everyone, so I'm currently at George Mason University in Fairfax, Virginia. I'm doing the Washington Journalism and Media Conference this week, and I'm so excited. Here's my room. I'm sharing, I forgot what her name was, but I'm sharing a room with another girl. I don't know where she is, but she's not in here yet. I've been up since 4 a.m. It's currently 3:38 Eastern time, so 2:38 Central time. I'm so excited. We don't start color group meetings until 5:30, so we'll have about 2 hours to get ready, and I need to like get ready. I'm just so excited. I've never been to DC before, and it's my first time traveling alone, so I hope you guys will enjoy this vlog. Got in there, and I was chilling for a little while, and then my roommate walked in. She walked in, and she said, hey, is anybody in here? I was like, hey, I'm here. And her name was Peyton, and oh my gosh, I love Peyton. We stayed up to like 2 a.m. most nights just talking about life and everything, and it was great. So if you're nervous about meeting your roommate, don't be, because I know a lot of people were complaining about their roommates, but I personally had a great experience. I know Peyton really enjoyed having me there too. And I think we just bonded really well, and it was just amazing. We were supposed to go down to the hub to meet our color group people, but me and Peyton didn't because we didn't know. We were just up there, and so then it was time to go to our color group meetings. And mine was in a room, and I didn't know where it was. I was like, oh my gosh, where am I supposed to go? And so I found this other girl that was in my color group. I'm like, do you know where we're supposed to go? She's like, no. And so we were just freaking out, trying to find it. We were walking every floor, because my roommate found hers pretty easily. Mine was in a different building. Mine was in the Johnson Center. Then I walked outside, and I found my color group leader, Elise, our JFA, and I was like, hey, I'm in your color group, where are we supposed to go? And she's like, come with me. So we like walked, we found the building, and thank God, and I saw my people. We were like, everybody was chilling out in the eating area of the Johnson Center, and I walked up to a group, and I was like, hey guys, can I sit with y'all? And they were like, yeah. And it turns out I'd met 2 of them on Instagram a couple weeks ago when we were getting our color group assignments. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're like, yeah, we know you from Instagram. I thought that was really cool. We were talking, and we were already seeming to be great friends after about 30 minutes of our color group meeting. Then after our color group meeting, we went to dinner, opening dinner, with our speaker, Michaela Bouchard, who works for the New York Times. And I talk more about this in my blog, so if you want to see anything that I'm talking about, I have the little card up here where you can just read everything. I thought she was a great speaker to open up with. She really taught us a lot. After Michaela spoke, we then had another color group meeting where we were just basically playing icebreakers games, and we were meeting everybody, and it was just really fun, and I love everybody in my color group. We all just seemed to hit it off really well, and we were all just friends. It was really awesome. Then we went back to our dorms, and we got to relax and go to sleep. Hi guys, it's the end of day 1. I'm here with my roommate, Peyton. Hello. I love her. She's great.
You're great too.
So we just got done seeing our speaker and going to our color groups. It was great. Everybody here is like the same person, I feel like. Yeah. Everybody acts really similarly, and it's great. How do you feel about your color groups?
They're really cool. I mean, it's kind of the same thing. We're all pretty similar, so we get along really well.
Yes.
Yeah.
We had to like do this thing where we were having an elevator lift, which is just like you had to meet somebody in about 2 or 3 minutes and explain like what you want to do and how you're working on to get there. Monday, we ate breakfast, and then we started traveling to the museum, which is in Washington, D.C. And the museum is just a museum about the history of news. Obviously, it's called the museum. The history of news and newspapers and talk shows and all that kind of stuff. And it was a really amazing museum. I've never been to anything like that before, and I learned a lot, and I saw so many cool things, and it was just really fun to be able to explore that. And we had lunch at the museum too. We also saw the Pulitzer Prize winning photos, and they were just really touching and like deep, and it was just really awesome to see those.
Former President and Chief Justice William Howard Taft successfully argued that the court to have its own building. The Ohio resident did not live to see the opening of the new building. The 9 justices interpret the laws, making decisions about some of the most controversial issues of the day, including the First Amendment, reporting for Museum Network News on the
We went to George Mason Arlington, which is closer to DC than George Mason Fairfax. We had a panel called the New Voices panel, which they talked about how students in certain states can be censored from publishing in their school newspaper because if the principal or whoever doesn't want them to say certain things, they can just be like, no, you can't publish that. And in Mississippi, we have censorship. So, but in some states, you can publish stuff even if your principal doesn't like it, which is awesome. And then we had dinner at the Crystal City Sports Pub. We went to the White House and we took pictures, insert pictures here. It was really amazing. I'd never been to the White House before or been to DC before, and it was just awesome to see. And the streets were like completely blocked off and stuff, and you couldn't go past a certain point to the White House. I'm in front of the White House right now. Here it is right here. First time in DC. Obviously, I'm a very traveler. It's okay. I feel like I'm in a picture, like a stock photo on Google. It's weird. There are like 45 bajillion people here, and I'm just like, there's a very serious security guard lady. Then we went to the Twilight Monument tour, where we could go see the Washington Monument, not up close, but we could see it from far away. And we also went to the World War II memorial things. I'll show you the clips right now. Hi guys, I'm here with Ellie, and we're outside of like the Washington Monument. Here it is. We're gonna go walk to the World War II memorial with like the Lincoln Memorial and all that kind of stuff, and I'll show you guys when we're there. Okay, so I'm walking by myself here with the World War II memorial. I don't think I'm supposed to, but I'm doing it anyway, so I'm sorry if you're watching this WJMC people, but I'm doing that anyway. So I'm trying to find the Mississippi World War II thingy. I found New York's already. I took a picture by it, of course. Then we went to the Lincoln Memorial and we walked around inside, and it was beautiful. It was even more amazing in real life than in pictures. And then after that, we traveled back to the dorms, and then that was the end of day 2. The next day, we went back to DC, and we started off our day with Susan Goldberg at National Geographic. And oh my gosh, she was such an amazing speaker. She was telling about the 5 principles of storytelling. Like I said, I have more on my blog, but the 5 principles of storytelling are: make a difference, do what others can't, be part of the conversation, act urgently, know who you are. She just spoke so well, and she showed us some of the famous covers of National Geographic. On the way home on the DC airport, I actually picked up Planet or Plastic. I read it on the airplane home. I just really found what she said inspiring. And sometimes these photographers have to go to scary places, and sometimes they're even killed or put in grave danger to take these pictures of people or things that are happening. It was really humbling, you know. Next, we ate lunch at Carmine's, where we traveled to the National Press Club, where we heard from Brian Lamb from C-SPAN. And he basically just opened it. It was like an open conversation where we could talk about what we learned and talk about our opinions. And he said that the root of journalism is money. So if there's not money in it, people aren't going to do it. Our next speaker was Michelle Ciccone from the Washington Post video. And she had 3 rules for journalism too. Number 1 was follow the money. Number 2, show, don't tell. Number 3, don't stop listening. We then traveled back to George Mason, and we ate dinner at Southside Dining Hall. We had David Culver from NBC Washington talk about covering local news. He said to find an audience who's interested in what you're telling, and that even though he loves what he's doing, it's still work. You know the saying, it's like, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. He said he loves his job, but he's still working. And I thought that was interesting because not a lot of people said that. We then had our next color group meeting, and after color group meeting, it was time to go back to our dorm rooms and go to sleep. Now we're on day 4. This was Your Career in Journalism, and we stayed at George Mason the entire day. We started off the day with a color group meeting after breakfast, and we were talking about something that's happening later in the day, our newspaper simulation, which I'll get more into. Then we had Carol Guzzi, a 4-time Pulitzer Prize winning photojournalist, speak to us. Her presentation was really amazing, and it was emotional. The images she showed were just like, you just had to sit there and everybody was crying. And there are even tissues for us because the interns knew that we were going to be crying. And it was just, oh my gosh. And she had this thing where it was dogs that were affected by Hurricane Katrina. And hey, so in this clip that you're watching right now that I'm editing, I accidentally cut out, and I was talking about Carol Guzzi's, like, her talk and her thing about Hurricane Katrina. It was very sad and emotional. After her talk, we had Amy Takayama Perez, who's the Dean of Admissions at George Mason, and she talked to us about how to get into college and like the best advice for that, and it was really helpful. And then after that, I was talking about the Newsroom Simulation, which was in our color groups. So I was with this girl named Ashley, and we were basically trying to fight to be on the cover of the front page of the paper. So each group had a different topic or whatever. So me and Ashley had Lyme disease in Vermont. So the paper was set in Vermont. So it was all about the relevancy of if the article should be put on the front page or whatever. Because in the thing, I was like a reporter, and my son actually had Lyme disease. And that's how it was affecting us directly, because my son had it. And we didn't end up getting the front page, but we still learned a lot, and it was really interesting to figure out how a newspaper works, because you have to basically present your ideas in front of a board of people, and they have to be like, okay, that sounds good, or like, that doesn't sound good. And we had to do a headline, a lead, an image, and priorities. So this is basically what it would look like if it was on the front page. I'm obviously an artist, so I am just great at that. Next, we had career exploration stations. I went to Alex Rosenwald, who is director of PR for Media DC, and honestly, I didn't really benefit from his talk. Neither did the guy I was with, another guy from my color group. He says to network, which is basically connecting with people your age and talking with them because they may lead you to a job in the future, but don't talk to them just because they may get you a good job in the future. And he said to keep writing, and failure is the expectation in this business, so we need to embrace it. And I thought that was really interesting. And our last speaker of the day was Megan ATV Reese, producer and photographer. She had a really emotional presentation as well, and she just talked about everything. And I just have 2 notes from her, and it was show me, don't tell me, and know your audience. Thursday, the last full day, was exploring DC in a celebration. We started off the day with breakfast, then we traveled to Capitol Hill where we had a big group photo, and then we got to meet with our congressional representative. I met with Congressman Benny Thompson's assistant Guy King, and he was really informative and helpful and friendly. I was really nervous before I walked in there, like my stomach hurt so bad because I was nervous. I walked in there and he was so friendly and nice, and he answered my questions really well, and I wasn't nervous anymore because of that. And I just want to thank him. If you're watching the video by any chance, you're probably not, but thank you for that amazing experience. I really appreciate it. Then after that, we had a kind of free reign to explore DC within points that were on the map that we had. I was walking alone for a second, and then I found this group of people that were gonna go down to the Smithsonian's and the Botanical Gardens and explore, and I was like, can I join y'all? And they said yeah. So we just walked around and we went to the Smithsonian's. Well, one of them, we went to the one that was like Buddhism or the religion and natural history, I think, and we went to the Botanical Gardens, and we just had a good time. We had a photo shoot, and I actually got this necklace from a man on the streets of DC. He had his hands full of bracelets. He said, pick one out. And I was like, okay. And then he put this necklace around my neck, and he said, can you give me a donation? So I wrote my name and my donation amount. I gave him $10 because I need to save the rest of my money for the rest of my trip. And it's just, this is like homemade. It's really pretty, and I love it so much. And I'm glad I got that kind of cultural experience because he was trying to build a temple somewhere. Another lady was walking by, and she was trying to build a temple too, and she was handing out pamphlets and stuff. And it was just really interesting. I've never been to DC before, like I said, so I was being a major tourist, but I can't wait to go back and actually spend more time in DC and go to see whatever I want. After all the fun that day, we boarded the bus, and then we went back to the dorm rooms to prepare for the gala. So I took a nap about an hour and a half because I was tired. Then I got ready for the gala. I was looking good. I'll insert pictures here. And then we went to the gala, which is at the Westfield Marriott, about 30 minutes away, I think. And it was so much fun. First we ate, and we had really good food. I had a vegetarian or vegan meal. It was like mashed potatoes, vegetables, and it had this delicious sauce. It was so good. And then I had chocolate cake with like this fudgy icing. It was amazing. And then after that, we were dancing, and we just danced the night away, and it was so much fun. It was way more fun than any homecoming or prom at my school, and it was just a great time to celebrate with my new friends. And everyone was like so inclusive, and I was dancing with people I didn't know. So if you're nervous about that as well, don't be. It's gonna be so much fun. By the time Thursday rolls around, you're just having a great time with all your new friends. Then we went back to the rooms, and that was the end of the last full day, and it was really sad. Me and my roommates actually stayed up till like 1 talking about random stuff. We were laughing so hard. We were like literally rolling on the floor laughing. And then my roommate and I were up until 2 packing and all that kind of stuff, and I fell asleep with the lights on while she was still packing. Next morning started off a little bit earlier. We had our color group meeting at 8, and it was our final one. For my color group, I was on color group yellow. Elise, our JFA, made us these things with our names in WJMC 2018, and she wrote us each a message. And then everyone in the group signed ours, and I just thought that was so sweet. And this is like, whenever I start to miss WJMC, like right now, I can just read it and be like, oh my gosh, these people, like, they're just so amazing. That was just really sweet. I wasn't expecting that. Then we had our closing ceremony, and it was Sam Wolf, a WJMC alumnus. He actually goes to George Mason University. After that, my bus, at least at the time, I thought was leaving at 12, so it was about 10 o'clock. I had time to go around. So we went back to the Johnson Center. I went with a couple friends, and we went to the George Mason store. I got a yellow sweatshirt, which I love so much, and I got Starbucks, and all of a sudden Matt, my faculty advisor, called me. He was like, hey, are you on the bus? And I was like, no, am I supposed to be? He was like, yeah. It was 10:30 or 11 or something like that. He said, you're supposed to be on the bus right now. I was like, oh my gosh. So I ran all the way across campus, and I got on the bus, and I was like, bye, Matt and Elise, thank you for everything. Got on the bus. I had to bring my big old suitcase on the bus with me because there's no room underneath in the cargo space. And then we were off to the airport. My flight wasn't until 4:20 p.m. and then we started boarding at 3:44. Got to the airport at 12, so I had almost 4 hours to just chill and do whatever. So I got there. I wasn't really hungry or anything. I was shopping downstairs. I got a bunch of merch and stuff for my family because I'm a tourist, like I said. And then I went upstairs and I just kind of looked around some more, and then I was like, I'm just gonna go through TSA right now because I want to get to the other shop on the other side by the gates. So I went through TSA. I went over and sat at the seating area outside of a restaurant, and I worked on my blog post, my final blog post, and I worked on part of this video. I just kind of sat there and chilled. Then it was finally time to board my plane, so we got on the plane. I flew to Atlanta. When I got to Atlanta, my flight was about 10 minutes delayed from DC. Like, something happened in the air and we took 10 minutes longer to get down. So I got to the Atlanta airport. I barely had time to do anything. And then it was time to board, so I boarded. Then I flew back home to Mississippi, and here I am now. It was just an amazing experience. So thank you so much, WJMC, for giving me this amazing opportunity. I will never forget about this in my entire life. I'm going to always be talking about it. Everyone's going to get tired of me talking about it. But it was so amazing and wonderful, and I can't believe that I went. And I went alone. And it was my first alone traveling experience, first of many. And I just couldn't wait to tell you guys about it. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe if you did. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!
Outside.